Hi everyone, thanks for watching Access Hockey MI. Today we're going to talk about the all-important NHL Draft Lottery that has just ended.
Insert mean things about where we landed
here. We landed 8th, so that was the lottery. We're 8th.
End the video.
Yeah, right? Today we're going to talk about, we're basically going to give you the facts today.
Yeah,
that's what today is. In the coming weeks, we're going to go over the likely picks. We're going to go over pretty much top 10, top 15. We're going to dive a little more deeply into it. The thing about us is that we want to watch a lot of video. We want to watch a lot of interviews. We want to watch a lot of stuff. We want to look at a lot of stats.
And of course, what else do you do when it's gorgeous and summer outside? You stay inside and you watch
hockey stuff. But we want to be more informed before we give you our opinions. So basically, today we're just going to talk about the facts. Our pick, we're going to talk about kind of where we see it going, Yzerman's plan, all that stuff kind of wrapped into one. The Lumberjacks, by the way, Muskegon, they are out of the playoff contention.
Toledo, by the way, are in the conference finals.
Toledo's still going, so they're our only team left.
We'll see you guys. Woo! We're going to be there if there's tickets left.
Yeah, hopefully. But yeah, we're going to talk about the draft lottery today and the draft in general, and let's get started.
Yeah, so
long intro, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. It's a fact dump. We already said it. So we landed at eighth overall in the first round, which is not terrible. It's in the top 10, so woo.
That's the lowest that Steve Yzerman's drafted.
Oh, no. Brimstone and fire. No.
What will we do?
Obviously, we don't give a rip that it's 8th. Like, that's great. We can
think
do
it's
cool
gonna be great.
stuff with it.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know why people are panicking. Some are panicking. The general population, I think, has more confidence this time around than they did.
Earlier would be cool. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't complain.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But I'm not going to lose sleep over 8th.
Right.
So, kind of projecting what we need and just the general consensus is a lot of people are saying centerman and defenseman right now. The top, I would say safely, this draft coming up is not like a super stunner draft. We've seen a lot heavier talent in the last couple seasons than perhaps this season, not undermining these guys at all.
Right.
But obviously it's going to be like a best available situation at that round. Like, it never goes in exact order, but I think Yzerman overall, I don't think right now they're looking at like, centerman or defenseman. It's going to be, okay, who's left at 8th?
Well, and I think that we keep hearing that defense would be where we'd like to go.
Yep.
But there's 2 defensemen right now in the top 10, and it's not likely that they're going to be left at 8. It's been noted before that, of course, we got Seider at 6th, Moritz Seider at 6th. That was kind of a surprise. So I would say since Steve Yzerman has been the leader in the draft, the GM, we've kind of happened upon these picks that these guys are left and, okay, let's get this guy. Let's get this guy. I think that's less likely at 8th. So I think we're probably, unless people start dropping, of course, and that's definitely possible, I don't see us getting a defenseman.
No.
Just because those two are, I'm pretty sure they're going to go pretty quickly and probably at their spots, if not a little earlier. So defense would be great. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But yeah, like they're saying, centerman is kind of where we're seeing a lot of people. But I think that Steve Yzerman has shown that he's going to get the best available.
Right.
And I think that that's likely, and I think that that's smart.
Yeah.
We'll slide in whomever's there. If they're best available, they're going to be the best at whatever position.
I think if all that was left was a bag of sand, we would find a way to make it work.
In fact, we have with some.
So we're not going to name drop. Look at previous videos.
Yeah.
So the draft is taking place on July 7 and 8. So the first round.
July 7 is her birthday.
It's my birthday, and they did it just for me.
Probably.
It's my birthday present. Thanks, guys. But what I want to mention with that is that there's free agency coming directly after that. So free agency starts July 13. And now, of course, because it's after the draft, I don't think a lot of people are thinking it's going to have a huge role and play a factor in it. But I think I'm of the persuasion that it will. I don't know if you are or not, but Steve Yzerman is looking ahead to filling existing positions we need in Detroit with free agency. So with anything we do in the draft, I don't think it's going to be a short-term, he's going right to Detroit type
I don't
deal.
think it should be expected.
No,
I think
it could happen. Raymond, I think in my head, he wasn't a fluke, but that's not the norm.
It hasn't been.
It hasn't been for us at all.
Even Seider spent a year in the AHL.
Yeah, and when that time over back in Europe for the COVID season and all that. I'm sorry, silly season. But I think free agency is going to play a factor into not just how we look at what the draft is going to be, but I think it's definitely going to be more of a long-term investment mentality. Yeah. Whereas we're going to fill slots now with free agency, and I see a lot of people saying, like, we're going to get someone for a center slot in Detroit. it's probably not going to happen that quickly.
Yeah, so I think we should expect that whomever we draft at 8th is probably going to need some development time, whether or not, whether that starts in GR, which it probably would. So like Rachel's saying, I think free agency, I would agree with you that free agency is going to be kind of where we fill some holes that the Red Wings have now. We did that a lot last season, like this past ending season, when we got a lot of defensemen and forwards to fill for the time being. And Yzerman's even said that the crop of free agents right now is a beautiful talent pool.
I'm framing that and putting it on my wall.
Yeah, it's a great talent pool already with guys who are free agents, who are going to be free agents. And so that, I think, is something, I don't think they're going to be like, well, we're not going to draft this because we get this guy in free agency. That's not how it's going to be. Yeah. I just think that to fill the spots in Detroit that we have now that are open, free agency will kind of be used. Of course, guys from Detroit or from Grand Rapids ideally will have their shot as well too. So I think that that's a very good point.
Yeah, but it's also safe to say too that if we do get a player, we're not trying to write off people either. So if we do get a guy that's good enough to go to Detroit right away, that is where he will go.
Yeah, I do think though that after Raymond was such a surprise, not a surprise like they didn't know who they were getting when they picked him. Of course they did.
I think the caliber of skill he had to adapt was
that
a little
is the
surprising.
Type of player that we want to always draft, of course. Someone who is ready immediately. If we didn't need to have them developing in Grand Rapids and they could just go to Detroit, that would be amazing. Yeah. That would be fantastic. That would be something that we would love. But I don't think that that's like the rule,
I think carrying an expectation of development is a good mindset to have, and I think most people have that mindset with the draft.
But you know what? At the same time, throw them in, see how it goes. You know what I mean?
It really just kind of depends on the mood. Yeah. But like Janae had mentioned previously, there is a chance that though we're at 8th, there is a chance that players that are closer to the top could drop. It's crazy.
It's happened.
It's happened a lot. It's not unheard of. So the guys that we're seeing, and we're going to dive deeper into this, of course, it is not the exact order that they will probably go.
Yeah.
The first and second guys normally
usually
being first and second, but after that, it changes so quickly. And if you ever watch the draft, you see how quickly this stuff changes. And so it's not to say that it's going to be a complete write-off. We have to take whoever's at 8th or whatever. Yeah. There's a good chance, like with Seider, someone that we did not think was going to be available drops in that they're available. So it's, I mean, that's, I think, what kind of makes it exciting.
Yeah. I will say, I do have a lot of confidence in how Steve Yzerman drafts. Even if it's a guy that I'm like, him? Mm-hmm. I feel like he's shown us, just in his drafting since he's been with the team, that he has a plan and he knows what he's doing as far as what he sees. Yeah, and what he sees the team needs. Mm-hmm. Because before we had gotten Seider, we had Rasmussen was a first rounder. Mm-hmm. We had Veleno was a first rounder.
Chalowski was a first rounder.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was first. He went 6th in 2018.
I don't know. I thought I saw he was 120th overall somewhere.
No. He was kind of a big deal.
I wasn't talking about him, though. I was talking about Rasmussen.
He was the bag of concrete.
Rasmussen, Veleno, and Zadina were the three before 2019 when we got Seider.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden we start seeing these prospects who are more and more ready, and I don't necessarily think that they're ready because, Steve Yzerman drafted me.
Yeah.
I just think that these guys, I don't know. Yeah. I just think he's got a good head about him when drafting.
Mm-hmm. And I do think with Lidstrom,
and his scouts too. Of course, it's not just him.
And that's something like in the last couple of seasons, especially the season where you could not travel, he was heavily dependent upon the scouting that was happening in the video that they were sending and their reports. Mm-hmm. But I do wonder how Lidstrom being a part of the team now and being directly involved with the Swedish influence right now, how that's going to factor in. I don't think we're necessarily going like totally Swede, but there are seasons in the last 2-3 seasons we have been getting bigger, almost leaning more towards a European influence. So I do wonder how that's going to factor into this next draft as well.
Yeah, so that is really just a fact dump. We had some opinion in there as well.
Yeah. But those are facts too.
Yeah, exactly. Let us know in the comments what you thought about the draft lottery. Were you completely beside yourself with depression that it was 8th? Or were you totally fine with it? Who would you like to pick at 8th? Who do you hope is still available? Or who do you think is maybe lower and you think should have been higher?
Do you think it's weird that when we were the last in the league, we didn't have the first round pick?
Well, it's kind of weird that... Yeah, the lottery. I don't know how I feel about it.
I think I'm going to start making decisions with a ping pong ball. I'm just going to have a bucket full of ping pong balls and whip it, and that's my decision.
And then you need Gary Bettman to...
She says no.
Anyways,
This has gotten off.
let us know in the comments all your opinions about the draft lottery. Who do you think got out the best? That would be an interesting conversation too. And like I said, we'll dive deeper into some of the guys that are on the draft list in the coming weeks. We're also going to talk about free agency in the coming weeks. This is a very important time before the draft. This is where we fact dump on you a lot. So we will see you guys in the next videos. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, share with all your friends and all your not friends. And we will see you guys next time.